We need change, all right. Change from a liberal Washington to a conservative Washington.
Mitt Romney has run the Bain Capital private equity firm. He's run the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, and he's run the state of Massachusetts. Now he's planning to run for president. Again. Politics, after all, runs in Romney's family.
Now, the Romney name in politics has always been a significant name because of his father, George Romney, who had been the governor of Michigan and a successful auto executive before that.
The younger Romney followed in his father's footsteps by beginning his career in business. He left Michigan for Boston to work for the consulting firm Bain & Company. He made partner and co-founded Bain Capital, a top private equity firm.
Romney started off as a business person and was quite successful in that realm and made himself a lot of money and developed a reputation as a very effective and competent, skilled business person.
Romney's first foray into politics came in 1994 when he was 47 years old. He challenged Senator Edward M. Kennedy for the Massachusetts Senate seat Kennedy had held for decades.
It appeared for a time as though this was going to be a very, very competitive race.
I don't like winners and losers in Washington. I'd rather say let's get together and work together.
But he was going up against a real old pro in a very tough state for a Republican. And there was an early debate in that contest in the fall of 1994 that basically ended the race.
But as a nation, we recognize the right of all people to believe as they want and not to impose our beliefs on other people. I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country.
I have supported the Roe v. Wade. I am pro-choice. My opponent is multiple choice.
Ted Kennedy pretty well demolished Mitt Romney in that contest.
Romney continued his business career and became known for stabilizing troubled companies. So, when Utah's governor needed an outsider to come save the scandal-plagued 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, he looked to Mitt Romney. Romney, who comes from a prominent Mormon family, already had close ties to the city.
I think it moved him from the realm of being purely a business person into kind of a national role that then glided over into politics.
Romney used his Winter Olympics success to launch a run for governor of Massachusetts in 2002. He won. Romney brought his business mentality to the State House and had some significant accomplishments. The most important was his 2006 health care reform plan.
The health care plan that Mitt Romney signed into law and actively pursued in Massachusetts was a law that is very similar in many ways to the law that was enacted nationally under President Obama.
Romney's plan required all citizens to carry health insurance and required employers to offer insurance to their employees. These provisions are better known as the individual mandate and the employer mandate. In 2010, similar mandates became the most controversial pieces of Barack Obama's healthcare overhaul. Conservatives across the country claimed Obama's individual mandate was unconstitutional. In 2010, Romney defended his plan, saying he exercised the right of states to determine their own laws and had never intended his plan to be used across the country.
To hear him talk about it now, he had to make some compromises that he didn't necessarily want to make or necessarily agreed with, but felt he had to do it in order to get the bill through.
By the time Governor Romney signed the bill into law in 2006, he had already announced he wouldn't run for another term. He left office in January 2007 and the next month launched his 2008 presidential campaign.
He began with a great burst of energy, and I believe that the reason was that they felt that he was not well known nationally. He was competing against better known people.
The early push helped Romney do well in key states, including Iowa and New Hampshire.
Nationally, it took him a much longer time to move. The problems he had were, first of all, the issue of who really was Mitt Romney. What were his convictions?
Romney had focused on fiscal issues when he ran in Massachusetts, but now that he was on a national stage, he veered to the right on social issues.
He went from having been pro-choice to being pro-life. He tried to explain it, but it didn't get explained very well, and he suffered from that. There was a question among many conservatives as to how authentic a conservative he really was.
Romney dropped out of the race in February 2008 and threw his support behind Republican John McCain. But as the country continued to struggle through a recession, voters began to demand more fiscal responsibility in Washington.
We have to show the world that we're not going to keep growing government and borrowing more and more money.
Romney believed his business experience would appeal to voters in 2012.
To put Americans back to work, it's going to take a new president of the United States.
He was not running as a social conservative in Massachusetts, and so I think that also helped make it possible for him. He's like many Northeast Republicans when he ran for governor, played down the social issues, played up economic issues and fiscal issues.